Paul Smith, Hamilton County Democratic Party Chair. I was going to mention to you that Mitzi Yates, who is here today from Hickson, her mother was at Pearl Harbor. Her husband was in the Navy at that time, and I think he was at that event. So we do have people here who were at that tragic time. We also want to mention to you that the country that started World War II, that was our adversary, had judicial people who had administrators such as you, and they let a dictatorial process start. And they did it by subjugating their voters. One of the things that you have done today is that you have denied what has been presented to you as 7,000 registered voters in Hamilton County who have come to the polls regularly to vote, and you will not even give them a chance. Now, when you started talking about voter fraud, we also were opposed to voter fraud, and we don't mind tightening up the rules. But what have you done? When you did the when you took to put the pictures on the driver's license, you took 3 years to do that statewide. But when you go to do that for the voters, you take less than a year. And you know that this is affecting 7,000 or more people. That's just drivers. We're not talking about people who have never gotten a license, the deaf, the blind, or other handicapped people who just chose not to drive, mentally impaired perhaps. So this is grossly unfair to large numbers of your voters. You're disenfranchising them. And then in addition to that, I want to point out to you that we are one of the states that has the lowest number of people that actually exercise in the freedom to vote. And we need to be encouraging that, not putting handicaps up there for people. And if this had been done as had been recommended, that we allow people 55 and older who had already registered and voted and had a history of voting to go on and continue that process. And you sat there and denied that freedom. I think that it's time for the public to take notice of the way that we vote in blocks, the unfairness of it. And then I'd like to ask you, I wonder if those 7,000 people that you have just disenfranchised or even tried to help had to show their picture ID in order to pay their taxes in Hamilton County. Thank you.
Anyone else?